We're jumping right into things. Great show, starting with the Thursday night football recap. The Indianapolis Colts walk into Nashville and absolutely annihilate the Tennessee Titans. 34-17 in the fourth quarter, they broke it open. Nyheim Hines had one of the games of his career last night. He only had 70 yards and a touchdown on the ground, but if we look at his other stats in the game, I think he might have had a receiving touchdown if I'm not mistaken. 5 receptions for 45 yards and also a touchdown. So big game for Hines. Fantasy-wise, obviously, great numbers. Phillip Rivers gets back on track with a 308-yard game and a touchdown. Meanwhile, Ryan Tannehill, on the flip side, looking a little mediocre. So, Joe, the big question here, with the Colts now taking the lead in the AFC South on a tiebreaker, do you think Indianapolis is really good enough to win this division over Tennessee?
The Colts have been one of the biggest questions in my book, whether they're in title contention or not. At this point, I think they're gaining enough momentum to get to the to win the division, and maybe get past the first round.
Really? You that high on them?
Yeah. Look, their defense is probably one top 3 defense this season.
Yes, I agree with that.
They've gotten so many points off of their defense alone.
Yeah.
Just last night, they've got a freaking blocked punt return. Name another team that does that.
The 2019 Patriots.
Okay. Yeah.
We got a few of those.
But, I'm starting to get high on the Colts train. Not there yet. I need to see a few more games from them. I think they have a mediocre schedule for the rest of the time being. So I think they can easily get this division if they want. And hopefully they do. But they're kind of reminding me of the Chiefs, pre-Patrick Mahomes.
The Alex Smith Chiefs?
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of a quarterback slightly better than game manager status. Yeah. Good weapons around him. A great defense. Yeah. I can see that.
Obviously they're not the Chiefs now.
Yeah, and we'll also look. My take on this is a little different. I think the Colts are an incredibly talented team. I think they're going to be a wild card team at a bare minimum. But look at the schedule. So they have to play Green Bay next week. I don't think that's going to end well. But then again, Rodgers has struggled against good defenses this year, so you never know. Then they get a rematch against Tennessee. Tennessee's going to have to win that if they want to win the division, I think. Then the only really soft game remaining is at – not even really soft, but it's versus Jacksonville. That's the soft one. Then they have to go to Oakland, and that's they should win, but you don't know. So
they also should win against the Texans twice.
I don't think they're beating the Texans twice.
Really?
I think Deshaun Watson will beat them once. I think.
Look, you don't think their defense can handle it?
I think Deshaun Watson's really good, and he's proven he can put up points against good defenses. He almost beat the Steelers, remember? This isn't a joke of a team anymore, especially without Bill O'Brien. I'm more high on the Texans than a lot of people, though. In my eyes, I just think that this Colts team it could be boom or bust, and they're just going to have to get some consistency together if they really want to win this division, Joe.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm not trying to slander Deshaun Watson. He's a great guy, but, Colts are obviously the better team.
That is true. That's true. But sometimes the better team doesn't win because, let's be honest, Deshaun Watson's a way better quarterback.
Get over this.
Anyway, moving into now the Titans. Because obviously, right, this is a Tennessee Titans team we thought was kind of destined to win this division, especially a couple weeks ago. So, Joe, Ryan Tannehill, we had a conversation about him before the Pittsburgh game when things actually really started to unravel. I think now, I think the Titans, what are they, 6-3 now?
Yeah.
What was that? They've lost 3 of their last 4, so that's not great. So, Joe, big question here. Ryan Tannehill, back-to-back games under 200 yards, 4 straight under 300. And so the question remains, is he really as good as people said he was 4 to 5 weeks ago? And how can the Titans regain their offensive swagger that they had earlier in the year?
I'm going to finish I'm gonna answer the second question first because I got a better answer for that one.
Okay.
I think this all started after the loss to the Steelers. Well, obviously it did.
Yeah.
It was a reality check for them. And they just weren't ready to be hit as hard as they were hit. You know?
Yeah.
Now, getting back to what your offense once was is going to be hard because, I mean, you just lost like 3 of your last 4 games, and one to the Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals one is the concern.
Yeah, that's the hard one. I mean, I can let the Steelers and Colts slide.
Yeah.
I can't let the Bengals slide.
Me neither.
Look, I mean, Ryan Tannehill obviously not doing his part. Derrick Henry has been having to do more with Ryan Tannehill's low production.
Yep.
So the question you got to be asking is, like, what is wrong with Ryan Tannehill? Because even if he isn't like a good quarterback in your opinion, he shouldn't be getting under 200 yards,
especially in back-to-back games.
Yeah, like he's good enough to get over that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I haven't watched the games fully yet, but is it something to do with the receivers, the O-line? Like, that's the questions you got to be asking. That's where you need to fix it first, because Ryan Tannehill, in my opinion, is still a good quarterback. He's not top 5. He proved that, yeah.
Getting Joe Kane to admit he's wrong on air? What is this? What is this?
Hey, I get all my info off of ESPN. So not the best place.
First Take. My man is watching First Take religiously.
Stephen A. Smith is a god.
Except for when he passes the Cowboys. Anyway, you got anything else to say on that?
But, like, I mean, Ryan Tannehill is a top 16 quarterback still. Like, you can't. No,
he is. He's objectively a top. He's objectively a top half quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, he is not as bad as these games are showing.
Yes.
So, like, I can't think it's Ryan Tannehill that's a problem until I actually, watch the games in full length, which I was planning on doing before this, but school got in the way.
I watched the end of that Colts game.
Yeah.
Part of it is Tannehill just missing targets. Part of it is the fact that the defenses he's faced in the last 4 games are pretty good, aside from the Bengals one. Then again, they only put up 20 points on the Bengals, which is concerning. He plays Pittsburgh, best defense in the league. We have to remember Chicago was last week. Like, that's no joke. That's a great secondary and a great pass rush, too. And then this week, of course, the Colts. So,
which is the best fantasy defense.
Yeah, and one of the best defenses in the league. So, yes, part of it's a schedule thing. Part of it's the fact that Henry really hasn't gotten a lot of the yardage he was getting earlier in the year. Granted, he still had over 100 yards last game, so it's not like he was shabby. It just looked like him and his receivers were a bit off out of sync, and it looks like maybe Ryan Tannehill against good defenses isn't the same quarterback he is against, say, the Houston Texans. And I think that that's just a relevant concern. I mean, look, yes, Ryan Tannehill's a top half quarterback. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But we also can't sit here and just excuse him for these performances. I mean, the man literally threw for like barely 140 yards, if that, last game. So it was not good. And I mean, you can maybe blame, you can't put all blame on Tannehill, but this is not a quarterback who battles through difficult matchups and will pull you through that. And that's a fact. And you just need Derrick Henry to be on. And Henry was good last night, but clearly not good enough to power them into that victory. Also, the Titans defense was kind of garbage as well. We have to at least note that. All right, Joe. So
I thought we already knew the Titans defense was overhyped at the beginning of the season.
I mean, yeah, it's just worse than we could have imagined. And so now that they've dropped 3 of their last 4, and the schedule's not exactly soft for this Titans team going forward. What is your outlook or expectations? If you're a Titans fan, what are the goals you're setting for this season and for the AFC South? And what do you expect? What's realistic?
Look, you're one game. You're tied, actually.
Yeah, you're tied.
Yeah,
just
you're
tiebreaker.
tied
Yeah,
with the Colts. You're one game behind. You're still in a spot to get a wild card spot, no matter what. Right now. Okay, and you kind of have like for the next 2 matchups, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Then you play the Browns, which is going to be easy. Which should be easy.
You should beat the Browns and the Jags.
Yeah, and then the Lions, you should be able to beat. Then the Packers, no, and then Texans.
It was close last time, and this one's on the road. You don't know where that's going to go.
Yeah, it's going to be more difficult, but you should be able to pull through.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you already have a playoff spot, then you really don't need to.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but like, I mean, Titan fans, you're in position for a wild card spot at the very least. Okay, the only way you can, screw it all up is if you just screw it all up and lose to the teams you shouldn't lose to, like the Browns, Lions,
the Jaguars,
and Jags.
Yeah. I think that they absolutely, if they want to win the division, they need to beat Indy in 2 weeks. I think that is a massive game for both teams, especially because you can probably expect to lose next week against Baltimore. I mean, look, Lamar Jackson has been struggling, but your defense is some flaming hot trash, and Jadeveon Clowney, I think, might be injured for a long period of time as well. So, and your secondary is just useless. So this is not great. I do think you can still win the division, but it is really going to hinge on you winning these divisional matchups, especially the Texans and Colts one. Obviously, the Jaguars one shouldn't be a problem for you, but DJ Chark is now roaring back, and Jags kept it kind of tight with Houston, so we'll see what happens there.